Well, hello everyone. Welcome to this session hosted by Wooclap, an interactive audience response tool making learning awesome and effective. My name is Annelies and I am head of expansion at Wooclap and here with you today to show you how we are able to add continuous value to your courses and make sure your learners are engaged. So let's get started with getting you all connected to this lovely Wooclap event I've created for you today. And do you have your smartphones ready? Keep them at hand if they're not already. So this is a first connection slide. And this is what you will show to your students in order for them to connect to your Wooclap event. And a Wooclap event will be a certain class or topic you'd like for your learners to be connected with. So please go ahead and scan the QR code that you see on the screen with your smartphones. And of course, you can also click the link that my colleague will share in the chat, or even going to wooclap.com and entering this event session code ALTC21, and let's go. So here I'm just going to refresh and we will be able to see that people are connected very soon. So let me load the presentation again. So here you're able to see that everyone that is connected right now. So that is really something that is really handy. I'm just going to exit a bit to have my presenter's view on, and we can start. All right, so let's start this session with some icebreakers. I would love to know how you are today. Would you be able to identify yourself with one of these superheroes? And let me just move that little title banner away so you can see the full image. And yes, do identify yourselves with one of these superheroes, as at Wooclap, we are convinced that all teaching staff and support staff and students have been superheroes throughout this changing learning environment we all needed to cope with, of course, due to the pandemic. All right, I see already that I see someone up high flying here in the sky, someone that is balancing his or her things today, someone that is falling out of the window, but you have your colleagues that can help you not falling down too far. So thank you so much for these lovely send-ins, lovely answers. I will close this voting and let's go over to my second question that I'd like to ask you. Do you know where Wooclap is located on this European map? So I'm going to wait a bit until some of the answers are coming in. And I already see that someone has put France up front. Someone that has put Belgium up front. Any other IDs from our dear audience? Way up in the Nordics. Germany as well. All right. Thank you. I'm going to close this voting. And let's tick on the correct answer. So you can see the correct answer is Belgium. So we're located in Brussels, Belgium, with our headquarters. And we have an office in Paris as well. And let's go to our third question. So how would you describe students today in one word? And with this question, you can send in multiple answers if you'd like. The goal is here to see how the word cloud can take form and how you're able to start discussions with your groups on certain topics. So let's wait until some of the answers are coming in so we can discuss some results here. And of course, you can as well show the results instead of this word cloud into a results grid, for example, where you can then see that the peers might have put little likes on certain words. So we can just click on that and start discussion on, okay, why are students today complex, for example? We can close this message, and we can also go ahead to the results list to see the different results. And again, for example, enlarge a concept for further brainstorming. All right, let's close this message. Let's close this voting. And let's go ahead, dear audience, and take a look at the purpose and added value of Wooclap together in the next slides. So Wooclap wants to encourage the participation of your students in your classes and presenting them, of course, with interactive questions you'd like to pose during your sessions and present the results of their answers in real time, as we've been able to witness during our icebreaker questions just before. And of course, supporting the continuity of the education and improving the learning process of your students is at our core. We base ourselves actually on the 4 pillars of learning by Stanislas Dehaene. So we know that for our students to learn, they must pay attention because it's scientifically proven that attention rates will drop over time when passively listening to a course. But we also want to stimulate and motivate the active engagement of our students during classes in order to then be able to measure the level of understanding with the goal to provide them feedback throughout their learning journey, which will then, of course, make sure for the learners to consolidate their course content into their long-term memory. And fairly easy to use, we keep it simple, as this is also one of our values at Wooclap. You've all been able to respond to my created questions that I've embedded into my presentation slides, and you were able to respond immediately and saw the results directly in real time on the projected screen. Furthermore, Wooclap offers more than 15 different question types, ranging from multiple choice, polling questions, finding on image, as we did with the superheroes, rating and open questions, but of course, as well, word clouds and finding numbers, matching, prioritization and sorting questions. A fill in the blanks and a simple slide is in there as well. But also the brainstorming question is a great question type, and more specific question types are there, such as the script concordance and script judgment testing. Furthermore, we're able to add audio and video to your created question series as well, and we support LaTeX and Asima language. So in order for your students to have some gamification going on, we have a nice competition mode that we've created that you can use. And you can as well share your events with your colleagues and work together on the same Wooclap events as well, for example. And then we have the wall of messages that can be activated throughout your session in order for you to enable students sending in their questions during your teaching session. But of course, what is a student response system without data, right? So with Wooclap, you're able to save, analyze, and share your data, be it just viewing the received responses into a grid or having the overall view of the group's performance, and also downloading all the data to Excel for further analysis purposes, or even sending an individual report to each of your students. And Wooclap integrates, of course. It integrates with your daily existing work environment. So you're able to import your presentation media, be it a PowerPoint, a Keynote, Google Slides, or Genially, but you're also able to import your Wooclap questions into your slides by using the add-in for PowerPoint or Google Slides, for example. And not to forget your video conferencing systems, as we integrate with Microsoft Teams and soon also with Zoom. The feature will come out very shortly. And next to these presentation media, video conferencing systems, we also integrate with your virtual learning environment. And this is true, for example, a Moodle plugin or an LTI integration for Canvas, Blackboard, Brightspace, Sakai, and many more. And of course, we find it very important to help you throughout your journey of benchmarking a new audience response tool. It's already quite hard to see through the maze of what's on the market, right? So we're here to facilitate a pilot project with your e-learning champs and other teams that are interested, and working really hand in hand throughout this journey for you to have an efficient pre-change management support with the right resources and onboarding workshops that come with. So feel free to learn more through the link that my colleague will share in the chat. And again, it's so important to have the right information, resources, and a transparent communication on these kind of pilot projects, because we want to make sure that your workload is limited and far less cumbersome. So who are we actually? The company is launched in Brussels by two students back in the days, noticing how hard it was for teachers and students to engage both ways. And to date, already more than 500,000 professors and trainers make use of Wooclap to boost their courses and training sessions, and this throughout 150 different countries globally. So being based in Brussels and having another office in Paris, that you already knew through the icebreaking question number 2. And here are some of our partners listed. We're very content to co-create our platform together with our partners, as there is really, this is the way how new features grow from that, answering the challenges that you face. And this is what we want to keep doing, of course. So do not hesitate to contact me if you see some interesting names up on here. I gladly inform you on the business case that we went through. All right. I'm going to exit my presentation here to show you around a little bit into Wooclap itself. So we're here on the event creation interface. You see that I am able to change my title if I want to. I named it Out Conference for today. This will be, of course, the title of your course, for example. And I can as well change my unique participation link if I'd like. So you can actually opt for the name of your course or an abbreviation. And this is, of course, where you will copy the link and share it with your students in order for them to connect to the event. Furthermore, you see that we have 3 tabs. These 3 tabs will be used very, very, very much. We will start with the tab Votes. The tab Votes is where you're able to choose from the plus 15 different question types. They're listed here into this wonderful banner. And this is where you're able to, for example, create a brainstorming. You just click on that question type that you'd like to opt for. And for example, we can have a first question on how would you tackle climate change, for example. Then we can opt to give some categories for our students to put their responses in. And I'll go ahead with our footprint. I'll go ahead with, for example, food and travel. And you still have some extra settings on the right, be it that you think, well, I don't want to actually go for the brainstorming, but I want to change my question times. You can do so here. You can opt to put likes on answers, and you can also opt to put a timer on that specific question, for example. And when you save it, you'll see that the created question has been listed within the list at the end of all the questions that you've already created. And if we're going to opt to start, we can go ahead and start our brainstorming question type. And if you would like to add a category on the go, you can do so as well. Let's go back to that voting page where you can create questions but also import them. And you were able to insert all of the questions that you've created if you have uploaded a presentation here on the right. So what is next? We have a Messages tab. The Messages tab will allow you to activate the message wall. This will allow the students to send in messages throughout your session. And you're also able to enable the likes, so students will see the other messages and can put likes on them. And of course, if you'd like to allow images, for example, you'd like to ask your students to go ahead and take a picture of a formula that they drafted on plain paper, you can also ask to send that picture in through the message wall, for example. And what is a student response system without the asynchronous part? We have that participant pace tab. When you are able to actually go ahead and create pre or post questionnaires to your courses, for example. If we're going to click on create here, you'll see that you're more or less on that same page as the voting tab, where you'll have different question types listed to choose from, and you're able to import questions as well. I'm not going to save that one because I have already one that is listed here. And then you can publish this questionnaire and go ahead and copy the link to put that on your VLE section where you would like your students to connect themselves to this asynchronous questionnaire. But then again, we have also files that we can add, be it support files for your students to be able to fill in the questionnaire at their own pace. And like this, you were able to, of course, then revisit the data collected and export this to Excel as well. About the reporting, for example, I'm able to show the grid of results where we're able to see who answered what. You've been able to see as well that I have some question types or questions that I've not posed. And when I go back, we can also opt to show the report here. And this is really going to take up the overall results that were sent in by the total group. So you can actually have an overview of the total group. Going back. And again, you can, of course, export the results to Excel for your further analysis purposes if you'd like. And, for example, reset the data if you'd like to go ahead to use your event for another session, for example. And if we're going to look at the more settings, we're able to import the logo of your higher education institution, having some extra settings to show the slides on the participant devices in real time or asynchronously, setting timers, working together on events, and this is already the in-depth use of Wooclap, let's say. All right, I think we are nearly at our time up for this session. Please do feel free to send in any of your questions to myself. This is Annelies at wooclap.com. You can, of course, also take your phone, give me a little call. I'd be happy to answer you. And thank you very much to be present here in this session and for your attention. And have a great second day at OUT Conference. Thank you.